Our lead story now, high-level discussions continue about taxi violence in Gauteng. But as things stand, police and authorities are on edge. 6 taxis were torched in the CBD at the weekend in clashes between the Witwatersrand African Taxi Owners Association and the Mansfield-Dube West Taxi Association. The rival groups met with Gauteng transport officials but were unable to come to an agreement. Gauteng Roads and Transport MEC Jacob Mamabolo joins us now live for more on this one. MEC, thanks for your time. So talks ongoing. Why haven't you been able to reach an agreement?
Well, firstly, let me greet you all the viewers and thank you very much for inviting me. I just want to start by clarifying that just yesterday on Sunday, we had all-day meetings with Nandue and Wata. And I can confirm to the viewers that we have reached a very good agreement. We had a good meeting. And these are the things that makes me say that the first one, the entire taxi industry in the province, led by GNT and Santago, and of course the warring taxi associations, have strongly condemned the incidents of torching of taxis that it's caused, and have actually done a lot of good work and progress in minimizing cases of taxi violence. There was also agreement that today in the morning, as the first Monday since the torching of vehicles, there should be peace and stability and protection of commuters. And to that extent, law enforcement was really asked to enforce the court interdict that we have received, but make sure that life and property is protected. And last point was that on Wednesday, we are having further round of negotiations and consultations to deal with the actual root cause or the core of the problem. So I consider the meeting to have been very successful, reached good agreements, came to an understanding, and there was full consensus. And that's why I consider it a very successful meeting.
Problem with that is that the Mansfield-Dube West Taxi Association says no agreement was reached. So as far as they're concerned, that wasn't the case.
Well, I think the issue that they raised was they needed to go back and consult with their members. And we have not received feedback from them. But I think I should respect what they are saying. However, if they feel there was no agreement reached, I think it was not expressed in the meeting because we closed the meeting very well. They were led by their provincial structure, Santago, and I also had consultations with Santago this morning. And we are of the common view that there has been an agreement, hence we had stability this morning. But I think what we will do is we're meeting against on Wednesday.
You can't say that you're satisfied that there's an agreement when one of the organizations is actually saying that there was no agreement.
Well, as I was just about to make the point, that when we meet on Wednesday, we will verify that point, we will check it. I was just saying, I respect their position if they say there was no agreement. However, I was just stating that it was not mentioned in the meeting. For example, I'm hearing it from you now on a media platform that there was no agreement by Nandue's side. But that's not how we concluded the meeting yesterday. But if they feel strong that in their view there was no agreement, I think they should have expressed it in a meeting. We will discuss it again on Wednesday and they can clarify them.
Yeah, okay, hopefully you get that one right. So you keep saying that, you know, this taxi violence is deeply worrying after it happens, but it also keeps happening. And it seems like there's total disregard for efforts to solve this issue. Are you failing to have an overall impact in this taxi industry when it comes to these wars?
Well, there are 2 points I would like to raise. One is that we have had a very good, successful process of constituting the Commission of Inquiry into taxi violence, and the report has actually helped us. So we have moved one step forward. I can also assure you that in our province, we used to experience almost on a daily basis cases of taxi violence, the killings. And we are one on the fact that we're actually experiencing a much more drastic decline in the number of cases of taxi violence. So this issue in our province, it is definitely not the norm. It's an isolated cases compared to where we were before. And the fact that if you look at, the reports, this is one issue which is not the trend and the pattern in the province. And I think we've done very well to minimize cases of taxi violence in the province. We are having an impact. It's just that the issues are very complex, very difficult, we must accept. But I am satisfied that a lot of progress has been made. It's just that the incident on Saturday was of a magnitude and scale that was unprecedented. It was quite a serious event, incident, very, very barbaric and most backward form of taxi violence we have ever seen. But it doesn't dampen our spirits.
Yet you are still satisfied with these ongoing taxi wars in the province. I want to ask you one last question because we've run out of time, so please try to keep this one shorter. Are you considering suspending taxi associations from operating if they continue with these ongoing battles? Because they've been treated with kid gloves for far too long.
Okay, let me firstly dispute, and I don't agree that anyone has treated the taxi industry with kid gloves. The law enforcement has been doing its work ourselves. What we believe in is let us deal with violence through peaceful methods. Let us have negotiations. Law enforcement does its work. We have just got an interdict to stop taxi violence between these two associations. So we are deploying multifaceted interventions. We are trying different options because there's no silver lining. So to that extent, I'll say that we are doing very good work. There's a reduction in taxi violence in the province, and law enforcement is hard at work. But negotiations, nothing but negotiations, is going to help us to come to an understanding that we need to build a completely new taxi industry. And to that extent, we are confident that we'll break new ground.
All right, MEC, I'll let you give yourself a pat on the back. Others will disagree with that, though. Appreciate your time. Gauteng Roads and Transport MEC Jacob Mamabolo.